This is 7 p.m. post game coming to y'all Wednesday and Thursday nights right after the games. We'll tap in on what's happening around the league, react to what went down the night before, and hit on the topics that are bubbling across the NBA.
All right, we big fans of Anthony Edwards over here. He's entering his 6th season in the league, and conversation around him is starting to shift a little bit, right? For the last few years, you could be a fan favorite, authentic, funny, fearless, and, impossible not to root for. But every superstar reaches that moment when that love from the media and the fans turn into expectations and the spotlight moves from potential to proof. Shea already has a scoring title, an MVP, a finals win, and a finals MVP. With Ant stepping into more commercials and more spotlight, the comparisons get louder and the pressure rises. This is not about trying to tear Ant down. Let's not get it confused, especially as he comes back from an injury. This is about the next chapter in his journey. So, Melo, you lived that life as a young superstar in the league, man. The weight of a franchise on your shoulders. So when does that mindset shift from I'm next to I have to deliver right now? And how does a player like Ant Edwards stay himself when the pressures and expectations start to rise?
That's a loaded question right there.
It is, especially from your perspective.
Yeah, it's a loaded question, man. And this is part of what happens, right? It's like you go from first they love you, then they judge you. Then they club you, meaning put you in this club.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Then now you looked at and compared to the club.
When does that club moment happen? When do they start to put you in the specific club? Like
you get out the club as when you do what you gotta do.
Okay.
And it's hard to get out that club. Okay. A lot of people that stay in that club. Meaning don't get a chance to win a championship. It's a lot of people, the Barkleys, the Marcells, the AIs, the Reggies, you know what I mean? It's a lot of people in that club.
Mm-hmm.
So now you just become part of that club.
Does it happen when we're talking about Ant Edwards, six year in the league? We mentioned SGA, who just had a crazy year last year. You came in obviously with D Wade, Braun, everybody. Did that club conversation start to happen for you once, for example, I think Wade was the first one to get the chip, right?
Yeah.
Like once he won his chip,
yeah.
Did you start to feel the shift from everybody being like, all right, we love these young guys to, all right, like D Wade got one. What you gonna do?
Yeah. The thing is, I felt it the most.
Yeah.
Like I caught those strays the most. But again, because I caught those strays, I knew I got to do what the fuck I got to try. Like I got to get after it. I got to keep getting better. I got to keep, like I became relentless with the with the process, and like I just came relentless with it. You go from having fun to like to becoming relentless with the craft.
Mm-hmm.
And though that year, like that 08 year, I started to become relentless with my craft. I always trained, always worked out, I'm a gym rat.
Right.
But I became relentless with it because I understood, okay, now it's time for me to take this next step because they're going to start putting me in this or keeping me in this club.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still early though. You know what I mean? It's year 6, and it's young. It's a... When you have success early, like Ant has had, Western Conference Finals, you know what I mean? Getting there, like experiencing that early, it's front loaded. You still got to go through the whole process of the whole journey.
Right.
So because you set the bar so high, people not trying to hear that shit. Like your leash is quicker, it's shorter.
You got the first real taste of success out of everybody. You got the chip coming out of Syracuse, and you were the first person to take your team into the playoffs. Like right after, between Denver, Cleveland, Miami, you kind of had a lot of the early success. And much like Ant's situation, it's a situation where you probably get looked at a little bit differently the older you get because you've already...
How old is Ant?
24 years old.
This
geez.
is what this is my point.
This
is my point. This guy's 24 years old, already been there. How many Western Conference Finals? 2?
Did 2 straight.
Done ran through the West, right, at a young age. We talking about somebody who did this at 20, 21 years old, 22 years old. Like, he ran through the West. So, yeah, we expect Ant to win. You know what I mean? Because you've been there. You got there early.
Yeah.
You experienced that early. Where most people take careers and lifetimes to experience that. You did that early. So now how you gonna how much better can you get?
But you know how
people already have you here.
But
how much better can you get?
But you know how the narratives go though, man. Like
which he have to get a lot better in certain aspects of the game, and I'm sure he knows that.
Right.
That's just elevating your game.
Right.
You know, upping it on your craft.
I don't even think it's.
But how much better can he get from the standpoint of where people hold him at?
Yeah.
Right? So the only thing is a championship, is a ring for him. And to most people, anything less than that would be considered what for him?
It would be considered a failure. You know what I mean? Like,
and why is it considered a failure? It shouldn't be considered a failure.
To me personally, the way Ant's
the elephant in the room is hard as shit.
It's hard as shit, of course. Not everybody, because you just named a bunch of incredible players. You're an incredible player who, you know, may never even get to those games, get to the finals and stuff like that. But Anthony Edwards, you know, like, I think his situation is I would say a little bit unique, because when it comes to Ant, right, it's not that he could get better. It's just that in the games that they've needed him to perform at the level that we all know he can perform at, the conference finals, game 6, game 7, like he hadn't had those moments. Even if the Timberwolves lost.
Because he had to get better.
Even if the Timberwolves lost.
Because he got to get better.
If he had games where it was like, yo, man, like they lost, but Ant was unbelievable.
My point. He have to get better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. How much better can he get from everyone else's perspective? Because he's gotten better.
Yeah.
But nobody can see that because he's already here. And that's what people is holding. So it's hard to see how much better. He has to get better in a lot of aspects of his game.
I do think,
you know what I'm saying?
I do think he kind of fell in, even though he's an amazing three-point shooter, I did think he kind of fell in love with the three a little bit.
Right. So let me tell you, throughout a career, and Ant probably is thinking, I'm going to be here for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? Ant is going to be here for a long time.
Absolutely.
Barred injury, he's going to be here for a long time. So when you have that mindset of staying here in this league, what I'm talking about, you start developing, you start progressing every year. You start trying shit. You start trying to add shit to your game. You start playing around with your game, not playing around in the sense of fucking around, but like you start testing shit out. That's why you may see a player come back next year. He might be only shooting 3. I'm going to work on my 3. Or I'm only in the post. I'm going to work on my 15-footer, right? Every year, we're trying ways to get better and to add on to our game. Ant added what to his game? The 3. So because I added the 3, this is what I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show everybody that I worked on my 3. Now you worked on your 3. Now what he's saying, I'm going to get with MJ.
Mid-range.
I want to get to the mid-range, right? I got the 3 now. Let me get to the mid-range, right? Now, the next step to that is playing off the ball. Imagine Ant coming off pin downs. Imagine Ant, you know what I mean? Like, and quick actions and going to pin down, screen away for Ant. He coming out of the corner, one-on-one, getting downhill, turning the corner. That's a whole nother progression of Ant's game. That's when the pace just slows down for you. That's when the game slows down for you. So yes, Ant have to get better in aspects of his game. And he knows that. You can see it. Hey, I got to work on my 3. Okay, cool. I want to work on the mid-post. All right, cool. Now, what else could you add to the game to make it easier for him?
What does a successful season for Anthony Edwards look like? Like, we all know championships, MVPs, all that stuff. He's already had successful seasons. But what does a successful season for Ant look like without that shift happening in the perception of him?
Well, fuck the shift. Fuck the perception.
Yeah.
Fuck the perception. Because when you know what you're doing, right? No matter what nobody else says, shit matters to you. Like, he knows what he's doing. I will assume that Ant is in the gym and he's a workaholic, and I know that about Ant. I don't want to assume. I know that about Ant. So as long as he knows what's going on in his work ethic and what he's putting into the game, fuck what everybody else is saying. So the shift in the narrative, that's part of the game. That happens to everybody.
That's the life of an NBA superstar.
That's the life of any athlete. You know what I mean? Football, any athlete.
Yeah.
That shift, it comes no matter what.
Yeah. All right, man. But like I said, man, this is not to tear Ant down or talk to him any type of crazy.
Nah, it's real though. It's real to just give it like a perspective on just where he at.
Yeah.
It's when you experience success early, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
D Wade, for example, won the championship early in his career, right? Miami, after that, had to figure it out. And then it's like, oh, shit. We got to deal with D Wade injury. We got to deal with this. We got to deal with that. We got to revamp. Where we going at? Big three comes. Boom. Now the culture shifts right back to winning in a sense. You know what I mean? Not saying that they wasn't thinking about winning. Just shit was happening.
Yeah.
Injuries, you know what I mean? Like, shit happened. You got to adapt, you got to adjust. But it comes back to you if that's what you saw, if that's what your intentions are, and you build it the right way, it's going to come back to you.
All right, man. It's always great getting your perspective on that type of stuff, especially when it comes to the young superstars of the NBA. So Ant will be watching you all season. This is 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, a Wave original. This is also the 7 p.m. post game. You can catch us every Wednesday and Thursday after the games to talk it up. This is presented by FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube podcast, like, rate, review. All that stuff matters. For the Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony, I'm your boy Kaz. We catch y'all next time on The Hook. New episode dropping this Monday. Peace.
Peace.